As far as I can find from the Jewish sources, the ban on the name didn't exist in the first century. The only people who followed the ban on the name in the first century were the Samaritans, who never spoke the name, and we have evidence for that. And the Essenes, who wrote the Dead Sea Scrolls, they believed the name was too holy to pronounce. The Pharisees actually had a teaching that when you greet your fellow, you must greet him using the name. And they explain what they mean. They explain that when you, they quote Boaz walking on the road to Bethlehem, and he sees the harvesters in the fields, and they're covered in the dirt and grime of the fields. Like these aren't people who are sanctified in the temple. And he says to them, Yehovah imachem, Yehovah be with you. And they say to him, Yevarechecha Yehovah, Yehovah bless you. And the rabbis say in the first century, this is the greeting of ancient Israel. This is the way that we are culturally, the way we greet people. And they bring another example from Gideon, when the angel sees him, he says, Yehovah be with you. And the beauty of the story there is that Gideon in Judges 6, he thinks, well, this is just a greeting. It's like he's saying to me, hello, how are you? And the angel says, no, when I say Yehovah is with you, I mean he's with you. Like he mistakes it for a greeting at first. But he's like, no, I'm not just anybody saying this. I'm an angel saying this. Beautiful, beautiful things there. So the point is, in the first century, that's an anachronism to say that Yeshua didn't speak the name. There was a rabbi I've talked about in my book, Shattering the Conspiracy of Silence, and in the Open Door series, I talk about this. There was a rabbi named Hanina ben Teradion, who during the time of the Hadrianic persecutions, he was a rabbi, and he was burned at the stake by the Romans, we're told, for speaking the name the way it was written, meaning as Yehovah. Instead of saying Adonai, he actually spoke the name, and this was in response to the Roman ban on speaking the name. It started out as a Roman persecution. He said, if you forbid us to speak it, I'm going to speak it publicly. And it cost him his life. And the Roman persecution of Hadrian, just to give you an idea, Hadrian died, and so the persecutions continued up until the year 138. That's 100 years after Yeshua's ministry. There was a rabbi burned at the stake for speaking the name. So you're telling me Yeshua, when he was preaching in Galilee, didn't speak the name?